Salve to discipuli ego sum magistra buddy, and this is the stage 10 lesson where we delve quite a bit deeper into adjectives. Quick review on case functions. So our nominative is going to be the subject or subject complement. For example, the kid throws. Here we know that the kid is the subject because it's coming right in front of the verb, and the kid is doing the throwing. We have datives now, our indirect objects. The kid throws the ball for the dog. Here, the dog is indirectly receiving the action of the verb. The ball is directly receiving the action of the verb. It's what's being thrown. That's why in Latin it would be accusative. It is our direct object. Accusative can also be objects of preposition. Ablatives can be objects of preposition. The kid throws the ball over the house. Over is a preposition, so over the house would be a prep phrase. House would be the object of the preposition. Over the house. So remember, English relies on word order to indicate function. Latin relies on endings to indicate function, so make sure you know your endings. Quick review of our endings. Nouns. A, I, is, as. That's our first declension. The vast majority of the first declension nouns are feminine. We mentioned that briefly in the stage 9 lesson. It's going to be super important now that we're delving deeper into adjectives, so hold on to that. Second declension, masculine, us or o, e, is, os. Third declension, remember, third declension nouns will either be masculine or feminine. We've got the odd box here. The nominative singular doesn't really follow a pattern, but the rest do. E, ace, ibis, ace. Okay, this looks a little confusing. It's a little overwhelming. Just focus on the left side for right now. This is what we just did. Okay, so remember, feminine, masculine. Third declension can be masculine or feminine. Now, this is a little frustrating, I'll give you that. The way most textbooks lay out adjectives is masculine, feminine, instead of, and we've been learning it as feminine then masculine. So we've got our, what we call our 1-2 adjectives. 1-2 adjectives, this isn't a half sign. This is really just saying that everything in this column is a combination of first declension and second declension, but they're flipped. We've got masculine on one side, feminine on the other side. So, us, or a, o or I, or a, o, a, e, I, is. It's because of the same. It's the same over here. So we only need to write it once. You can write it twice if it helps. Os or as. So when we're looking at a 1-2 adjective, it can take any of these endings in order to match the noun that it's modifying. So for example, if it's modifying a feminine noun, and that feminine noun is a subject, it's going to end in A. If it's modifying a masculine noun that is ablative, the adjective is going to end in O, because it needs to match its noun in case, number, and gender. Now it gets a little tricky when you realize that we also have third declension adjectives. So just like our nouns can be first, second, or third declension, our adjectives could be first, second, or third declension. So the third declension adjectives, third declension adjectives have one thing that's just a little different. This ablative here is actually the same as the dative. You'll get used to it. It seems really annoying now, but it's not that big of a deal. So we've got our odd, ace, ibus, ace. So what if you have a third declension adjective that's modifying, say, a first declension noun? So if that third declension adjective is modifying a first declension noun that's accusative singular, your noun is going to end in am, but your adjective is going to end in em. What matters is that they're both accusative. See, this is accusative, that they're both singular, and they're both feminine. Remember, third can be masculine or feminine. So they're going to look different. But as long as they're the same in case, that's the items from this column, number, that's whether it's from this half up here, the singular half, or this half down here, the plural half, and gender. All right. Another thing about adjectives. Adjectives have something called degree. So this is the descriptive. Smart, brave, dumb, angry, beautiful or handsome, huge, happy, lazy, small, big. We've got comparatives. So this is saying more. It's comparing two things. This one is more than that one. So the cool thing about this is we've got an OR. So that should help you remember the more, because there's an OR in more. So smarter, braver, dumber, angrier, more beautiful, bigger, happier, lazier. Now, these right here are irregulars. Just like in English, we have irregulars. Think of good, better, and best. Small, smaller, smallest, big, bigger, biggest. Which also brings me to the superlatives. So usually, except our irregulars down here, which again, don't get too mad at Latin. English has irregulars too. Usually with our irregulars, we have double consonants followed by IM, followed by your normal 1-2 endings. So collidissimus would be very smart or smartest. Fortissimus, bravest. Stotissimus, dumbest. Erratimus, angriest. Pulcharimus, most beautiful. Notice here instead of a double S, we have a double R. You'll also see a double L, but we don't know any of those yet. Ingentissimus, the biggest. Litissimus, the happiest. Ignavissimus, the laziest. And again, minimus, the smallest. Maximus, the greatest. So these all take 1-2 endings. These right here will take your third declension endings. And you've got your OR to indicate and remind you that you're looking at a comparative. We've got double consonants here to remind you that you're looking at a superlative. You're going to translate it as most or very. All right, so this is going to be a little complicated. What I would like you to do is any adjective that you find, underline it, draw an arrow to the word that it's modifying, and then go through our normal list of tasks for marking and translate. All right, so I underlined my adjectives. Here I've got a regular, I've got just a descriptive adjective, I've got a comparative adjective, I've got a superlative. So what are they modifying? Well, the Aratus is going with Max. This is nominative singular. Max is nominative singular. This is from the second declension. This is from the third declension, but they're both nominative singular and masculine. What about this one? This is masculine nominative singular. So is Quintus. What about this one? This is masculine nominative singular. So is Grumio. We also have a connector here, so we're going to circle that and label everything that's left. Max is our subject, est is a linking verb. Quintus is a subject. It also has a linking verb. Then we've got our connector. Grumio is a subject. And est is a linking verb. So what does it say? Max is angry. Quintus is angrier. But Grumio is the angriest. All right. Miles fortis Caesar est fortior, sed Mars est fortissimus. So I've underlined my 3 adjectives. What does fortis modify? Miles. Fortis is a regular adjective. It's a third declension adjective. So it's nominative singular. Miles is also nominative singular. Fortior. This is nominative singular. This is nominative singular. Fortissimus. This is nominative singular. This is nominative singular. We've got a connector here with sed. And let's label everything that's left. Miles is subject because it's nominative, and we've got a linking verb. Caesar is a subject, linking verb, subject, linking verb. The soldier is brave. Caesar is braver, but Mars is the bravest. All right, Romani sunt callidi, Romani sumus calliadores quam Graeci. So I underlined my two adjectives. The first one, this is nominative plural. This is nominative plural. So this is modifying this. Calliadores. Calliadores is nominative plural. Because it's a comparative, we know that because we've got the OR. Because it's a comparative, it's using our third declension endings. So that's an ES, it's nominative plural. Romani is a second declension noun. So this is nominative plural. Even though they look different, they are both nominative plural. Quam is a kind of a connector here. We're going to translate it as than. Let's label the rest. Romani, nominative plural, that's our subject. Sumus is a linking verb. Romani again, nominative plural. We're going to label as our subject. Sumus is a linking verb. Graiki, it's a subject because it's on the other side of a connector. So the Romans are smart. Romans are smarter than Greeks. Diodorus est eratus, sed Thrasymachus est erratior quam Diodorus. So I've got my two adjectives underlined. Eratus, this is nice and convenient. They even look the same because they come from the same declension. These are both masculine, nominative, singular. Erratior, however, this looks different than Thrasymachus, but they are both masculine, nominative, singular. We've got a connector here. We've got a connector here. Let's label the rest. Diodorus, nominative singular, that's our subject. Est is a linking verb. Thrasymachus ends in US, nominative singular, it's our subject, linking verb. Diodorus is another subject on the other side of this connector. So Diodorus is angry, but Thrasymachus is angrier than Diodorus. All right, mea vila est pulchra, sed tua via est pulchrior quam mea. Lots of adjectives in this sentence. There's going to be arrows all over the place. Let's go. All right, so mea, that's from the first declension. It's nominative singular. It's modifying via. And vila. And it's they even look the same, which is nice. Pulchra, also nominative singular and therefore modifying vila. You can have multiple adjectives modifying the same noun. Tua is modifying vila. Pulchrior is also modifying vila. But what in the world would mea be modifying? It's also going back to vila. All right, we've got a connector here with sed. We've got a connector here with quam. Let's label what we have left. Vila, nominative singular, it's our subject. Est is the linking verb. Vila, nominative singular, it's another subject. Est is a linking verb. My house is beautiful, but your house is more beautiful than mine. All right, Discipuli, that was a pretty long lesson. Congratulations on making it through to the end. As my usual reminder, don't forget that English relies on word order to indicate function, but Latin relies on endings to indicate function. Make sure you know your endings, otherwise you will not be able to decode those Latin sentences. Valete, Discipuli.